Let me whistle now. Find the right whistles for the engine. Can you match these engines to the sounds they make? Match these engines to the sounds they make. The whistle that... Match the engines to the sounds they make. Which whistle is James? Which whistles are the... Can you find James? Can you match the... Match the engines in... Match the engines to the sounds... One of these whistles... Match the engines in... Match the engines to the sound... Can you match these... Match the engines in... Find the right whistles for... One of these whistles belongs to James. Listen to the engines and find the right sounds for them. Match the engines in the shed. Find the right whistles for the engines in the shed. Can you match these engines to the sounds they make? When you've finished, the whistle that's left must be for James. Which whistles are the right ones for these engines? Find the right whistles for the end. One of these whistles belongs to James. Match the engines in the shed with the... Match the engines to the sounds they... Which whistle is Match these engines. Match the engines to... Can you match these... Match these engines. Can you find James's... Which whistle is James's? Find... Match the engines in the... Can you find James's whistle? Match all... Which whistle... Match the engines... Find the right... One of these whistles... Which whistles... Match the engines... Which whistle is... Match the engines in... Find the right whistles for the engines in the sheds. Then, one of these whistles... Match these... Can you find James... Which whistle is... Match the engines in... Can you find James's... Which whistle is... Match these engines... Match the engines to the... Which whistle is... Which whistles are the... Match the engines to... Which whistle is... Match these... Can you find James... Which whistle is James... Which whistles are the... Can you find James's whistle? Match all the engines to the sounds they make. My whistle sounds like this. Which whistle is like Henry's? Listen. Excellent. That's just like Henry's. It's exactly the right whistle for a wonderful engine like me. Just listen to me. My whistle's best. Now, pick the whistle that sounds like Gordon's. No other engine whistles like me. Can you hear Gordon's whistle? Listen. My whistle's better than anybody else's. Which whistle sounds like Gordon? Excellent. Gordon sounds just like that. Yes, a very important whistle for a very important engine. This is how my whistle sounds. Can you find a whistle that sounds like Percy's? I really like my whistle. Which of these whistles is like Percy's? Yes, that sounds just right. What do you think, Percy? Yes, that whistle's exactly like mine. Just listen to my whistle. Can you find a whistle like Edward's? Just right. That's the sound Edward makes. It's a very good whistle for an engine like me. Now, one of those whistles is James's. Can you find it? Hurrah! James will be so pleased. I'm sure he will, Henry. You've done a very useful job. Thank you. Your Master Whistle Matching Certificate's on my office wall. Click on Thomas or the Island to pick something different to do. Or click on the level gauge if you'd like to hear the whistles again.